It was almost midnight when the pounding started. 3 knocks, then 3 more, each one heavier than the last, rattling my front door like someone wanted to break it down. I pulled back the curtain and froze. 2 men stood shoulder to shoulder on my porch in dark navy uniforms with HOA police stitched across their chests. Tactical boots planted wide, one spinning a pair of handcuffs around his finger like he couldn't wait to use them. Behind them, arms crossed and smirking like a queen about to deliver her final decree, was Karen Whitmore, the HOA president who thought she owned every square foot of Willow Creek. That was the night she made her biggest mistake. She thought she was cornering a neighbor. She had no idea I was FBI. I moved here for peace. After 15 years chasing fraud rings and organized crime, all I wanted was quiet. I pictured bike rides at dusk, neighbors waving from their driveways, maybe grilling on the weekends. Instead, I got Karen's 6 years as HOA president, 6 years too long obsessed with community standards. She fined an old veteran for flying a faded flag, threatened a single mom with foreclosure because her flower bed didn't match the handbook measured grass with a ruler. Her power wasn't official. It was psychological. People let her bully them because they didn't want the fight. But I don't back down from bullies. So when Vince and Brad, her 2 hired muscles, tried to shove a fake citation in my face, I asked Vince what academy he'd graduated from. His jaw clenched. Brad cracked his knuckles. Karen grinned like she'd already won. That's when I pulled it. My badge. The porch light hit the gold seal, and the words rolled off my tongue, steady as stone. Federal Bureau of Investigation. You're impersonating law enforcement. That's a federal crime. For the first time, Karen's smile cracked. They backed off SUV tires, spitting gravel as they disappeared into the night. But I knew that wasn't the end. Bullies don't back down. They double down. Within days, the black SUV was circling our street, at night hazard lights flashing like a shark fin cutting through dark water. Citations multiplied Mr. Franklin for his flag. Tamara Lewis for a missing patch of mulch, $1,000 fines slapped onto doors. Fear spread fast. Neighbors whispered through half-closed blinds, some believing the uniforms, some just too tired to fight. And then came the rumors. At the mailbox, I overheard it. They say Agent Miller pulled a gun on those compliance officers. By the weekend, it was gospel. Dangerous, unstable, probably suffering PTSD. Karen had weaponized gossip better than any bullet. The hammer fell when my ASAC at the Richmond office called me in. A folder sat on his desk, thin but heavy. Multiple witnesses allege you threatened private security officers with a firearm. Internal Affairs is looking into it. You're off cases until this clears. I felt the ground tilt. She'd turned my own agency against me. Driving home that night, SUV headlights lingered in my mirror. Texts from blocked numbers filled my phone. You're finished. Go back to the city Fed. And for the first time I wondered if maybe I should. Maybe I'd been wrong to stand up. Maybe I should pack up, disappear, let someone else fight. But then Tamara knocked on my door. Hands trembling, eyes wide, her kids clinging to her legs. She handed me a foreclosure notice, $500 due by Friday, or her home would be seized. She whispered, I can't lose my house, Agent Miller. What do I do? I looked at her kids, small silhouettes in the porch light, and felt that old burn in my chest, the one that always came before the fight. Nobody was taking their home, not on my watch. That was the moment I knew giving up wasn't an option. I started documenting everything. Every SUV pass, every bogus citation, every text. Patterns emerged. Targets weren't random. They went after the vulnerable veterans, single parents, people least likely to fight back. I dug deeper, traced the SUV registration. It led to a shell company, Community Compliance Group, registered under Karen's name. But the money trail went further, funneled into something bigger. Redwood Development Group, a statewide outfit laundering fines into land grabs. And buried in those files was a name, Leonard Brooks. He wasn't local. He wasn't HOA. He was the puppeteer pulling Karen's strings. I gathered neighbors in secret in garages and backyards. At first they were scared. Don't put my name on it, Daniel. Don't make me a target. But once they saw my badge, once they realized someone was standing between them and Karen, the silence cracked. Mr. Franklin gripped my shoulder steady as stone, son. You go after her, you won't be standing alone. That was the turning point. Fear had ruled this neighborhood long enough. So we set the trap. Staged fake violations, set up hidden cameras, recorded every threat. And when Tamara brought me a manila envelope of emails linking Karen directly to Leonard, the picture was complete. Wednesday night, community center. After hours, they were meeting. Alvarez, a county detective I trusted, joined me with 3 neighbors who refused to bow anymore. We wired the room, waited in the dark. At 10:04, headlights swept across the windows. The SUV pulled up. Vince walked in, tattoos crawling up his neck, followed by Leonard Brooks' tailored suit, smooth stride, no tattoos, just arrogance. Karen greeted him like royalty. His voice was calm, measured. Fear is leverage. Once they comply, development goes smooth. And the ones who resist, we make examples. That was the smoking gun. I stepped out of the shadows, badge catching the glow of the exit sign. Funny thing, Leonard. Property values plummet when the FBI seizes your assets. The room froze. Vince's hand twitched toward his waistband. Alvarez barked from behind the curtain, gun drawn. Don't even think about it, Karen shrieked. Leonard's mask cracked and chaos erupted. Within minutes, cuffs clicked, evidence secured. Karen spat at me as they dragged her out, eyes wild. You don't know what you've done, Miller. Leonard isn't the top. He answers to others. Days later, the courthouse was packed, neighbors, shoulder to shoulder, waiting to see if the man Karen painted as a villain would fall. Her attorney painted me as a bully, a fraud, a menace. He waved her fake citations like holy scripture. I let him talk. Because truth doesn't need shouting, it just needs patience. When my turn came, I laid it all out: the shell company, the fake police force, the intimidation. Alvarez handed the judge the SUV registration. Karen's name stamped clear. Gasps rippled. Then the neighbors rose. Tamara, voice trembling, telling of foreclosure threats. Franklin, steady as stone, speaking of fines for his flag. Each voice another crack in Karen's armor. Finally, Alvarez testified. None of these so-called officers were licensed. None certified. This was never about safety. It was intimidation, plain and simple. The tide turned. Karen shot to her feet, pointing at me, screaming, "He's lying! He's FBI! He can fake anything! Don't you see? He's the danger!" Her voice bounced off the walls, shrill, desperate. But for the first time, no one flinched. They saw her for what she was. Judge Harmon's gavel slammed. The evidence is clear. Authority suspended. Criminal charges pending. Karen slumped back, pale as chalk. Vince cursed under his breath. Leonard's arrogance evaporated under the weight of handcuffs. And me? I walked out steady. No badge on display, just a neighbor who'd had enough. Bullies thrive on silence, on people too scared to fight back. But silence broke that night. And if there's one thing I learned, it's this: power only works when you hand it over.